You're looking at that
like a pro.
I saw the lack of trust in your eyes.
It was, and there was so, I can't believe he picked that up. I was like, oh God. I'm get popped in the head with a, my forehead's big enough.
As a broadcast journalist, I've spent my life traveling the world and made my living interviewing the greatest fighters of all time. When boxing shut down, I finally had a chance to look around this world of conflict and could see the fight in everyone. Until this day, I talk to the greatest fighters and thinkers of our time about their fight. On Luminary, I'm Radio Rahim, till this day. A voice who needs no introduction, a dancer who needs no music, a character who needs no script. She's the Academy Award-winning guest this show needed. Rosie Perez. Chapter 1, Rosie-Colored Glasses. There's no carbon copy. There's no, other Rosie Perez. So,
thank God. One is enough. Jeez.
Well, maybe one is enough, but no one can get enough of you. You must have had all kind of relationships where it's just the difference between someone who's there to support you and someone might be there to be supported and understanding where boundaries are.
In the beginning, I fell for the okie doke. Thought people were my friends generally. And I unfortunately didn't catch on quick. Coming from Brooklyn, coming from the foster care system, it's hard for me to trust people. And it's hard for me to make connections with people. But once I do, they're tight and they're real. And I assumed that would be reciprocated. And it was in a phony way. And then when the facade was gone and the hurt came, I was like, y'all could go fuck yourselves. Seriously, that's how I felt about it because I don't open up. And then I did. And then you just shitted on me like that. You took my kindness for weakness. And you should never betray one's trust the way you did to me. It was like a little group of them. And it wasn't until years later, one of them came up to me at a function. And I was with my girl, Debbie Mazar, who's a trip, right? Love her. Shout out to Deb. And he comes over to the table and he's trying to apologize. It's at a function. It's an inappropriate time to make your apology. And Debbie was like,
she don't want to talk to you. I suggest you get the fuck away.
I burst out laughing. I said, okay, see, that's a friend.
And everybody needs a Debbie.
And so, as an adult now, my guard is still up. I'm cautious. I'm very, very cautious. And when I see someone who starts to exhibit those really foul qualities, I just smile at them and I go, hey, take care. I hope to see you soon. And I just keep it moving. I knew I had something special to offer from childhood. I just knew it. And I don't know how, I don't know why. I think it was the love that I got from my aunt who basically raised me and the never-ending unconditional love for my father. I felt special. They made me feel special. And even when I got put in placement with childcare, I always knew I had them. I thought that I was going to be important to the world. And I used to say that, at 7 years old, And the kids were like,
she's weird.
I was kind of like the Charlie Brown / Linus / Lucy. That was who I was as a kid, More heavier on the Charlie Brown because I was just so quietly weird. Because as a child, my childhood was so turbulent that I felt like I was just doing time. I was plotting and planning internally of what I was going to do once I was an adult and how I was going to live my life. I remember one girl said to me, she was one of the girls that was in the system with me. She goes,
You think you're special?
I go,
I do. Don't you?
and she punched me. She punched me in the face because I said that. And so I punched her back, crying. That's the Charlie Brown in me. You know what I mean? Because I was so hurt and I was so confused. And as an adult, I understood it because I scared her. You know, when someone has a certain audacity, someone has a certain level of confidence and knowing, and you don't, that could be terrifying. And if someone challenged you on it, it's a fight or flight.
And you challenged her about herself. I bet it was the aren't you that got you punched.
Yes.
Do you have a concept of when you were a kid, what the world around you was like and how little they expected from you?
Yes. Inside my aunt's home, it was just all girls. So there was no patriarchy that we had to deal with, right? But it was more of like having to be ripped out of my aunt's arms and placed in a Catholic home for orphaned and abandoned children. My mother suffered mental illness. She got jealous and then took me away just to put me there. She was a paranoid schizophrenic. So being in that type of environment with damaged individuals, I just was clear in my head, I don't belong here. You know that Psycho movie, that guy who wrote Get Out in his second movie?
Yeah, with the people under the...
Underground.
The underground, yeah.
Yeah, remember the girl got pulled into the underground? She's like, I don't belong here. So she plotted and planned her whole life to get out and get revenge.
Yes.
I wasn't bent on revenge. I just wanted out. And I was planning. And the whole time I was saying,
I'm not going to be here for long.
and all the other kids were, yes, you are. And I go, nope, nope. Because I knew I had love.
Paranoid schizophrenia is a very clinical term that now you understand what it is. But in the 60s and 70s, you'd be lucky to get even diagnosed properly, much less, as a child, have a handle on what that means. Did you have a desire to be with your mother? Did you understand that?
I had a desire to be with her because more out of I wanted her to want me. But I understood that we both didn't like each other as I got older. When I was younger, I didn't understand it. I just felt ostracized from her other kids, and all I wanted to do was go back to my aunt's house. And then finally it clicked around 12 years old that, oh my gosh, she doesn't like me. And I don't really like her, but I love her. She's my mother. That's heavy for a child to take on. It destroyed me a little bit, but it also helped me in a lot of ways of just going, now what are you going to do? My father, God rest his soul, and God blessed him for doing this, forced me to have a relationship with her when I was older. And I rebelled, and he's like, I'm telling you, you're going to regret it if you don't. I was so mad at him. I was like, God damn it,
The way you described her taking you from your aunt was jealousy. Mm-hmm. You don't get jealous of people that you don't love. Was she able to express that to you in a way?
She told me that she loved me when I was 20 years old in college over the phone. She told me, and I said, I love you too. I meant it. And I heard the sincerity in her voice. And I was very appreciative and blown away by it. And I remember my college girlfriend, Carol Diaz, she was sitting in my apartment. She just looked at me. She went, wow. Mm-hmm. And I go, I know. And she was like, you want to get drunk? I said, yes. My mother was a well-known and well-respected singer in Puerto Rico, and all her dreams were crushed because she got into an abusive marriage, not with my father, and he didn't allow her, that's the times back then, to continue the career. So she was angry, and she had mental illness. It's like, my goodness. what I felt as a child that what she didn't like about me was I looked just like my father. Like he just spit me right out.
Yeah.
And he broke her heart.
Yeah.
So then you start to understand things as an adult and you go, oh, I get it. You know, and you start to remove yourself from the equation so that you can see it. And when I saw her, my heart broke for her.
And were your other siblings in her home?
Yeah.
How did you end up in your aunt's arms? Was that your mother's sister?
No, my father's.
Your father's sister.
My father's sister. And also the part of my father that reminded her was that my father was a corny, silly, funny man. Because my father was like,
why be angry? Why? Life's not that complicated.
You know.
And that's the chill part of you. That's like the affable. But then there's a presence of a performer. It feels like if I just met you today, you would and had no idea who you were. I would know, okay, this lady is a star. If she's not a star somewhere, someone's made a terrible mistake. You know, you maybe think your mother had recognized maybe some of her star quality in you?
No. Funny that you asked that question. When I was placed in the Catholic home, the nuns saw it immediately, and they made me the lead bunny in the Easter parade review.
Lead bunny, that's how it starts.
You know? And then, and then they made me Lucy in the Charlie Brown Christmas show. And one of the girls that I'm still very, very close with from the home way back then as kids, she says,
Of course you became an actress. You were the lead bunny.
and that's the joke, you know? And she goes,
And you resented being on stage.
I hated being on stage with the nuns. And they taught me how to tap. They taught me how to play baseball. A nun in a habit with a baseball bat. Hilarious, you know? And I was more into sports than I was about performing.
Early in life, we learn to play roles to be accepted, to find love, and what people want you to be like is a way to get them to love you. Were you acutely aware early in life that being this way versus being that way can get you love?
I don't know that I was aware if I was trying to play or if I played a role to get love or attention. I wasn't aware of it. As an older person, you look back and you go, oh, okay, I could see that. Like not fitting in a predominantly all-white school and then raising my hand to answer a question with a witty comment at the end, and then the classroom laughs, and then I look around like, oh, they're going to pick me for the team later on. Yay. You know?
Right.
But I wasn't conscious of it. I think I wasn't aware of it until I got like in college.
Really?
Yeah. Because in college, that's where you really pick your tribe. And then I consciously enjoyed entertaining my friends. And then I realized sometimes I didn't enjoy it as much when I was a kid. Maybe that's what I was doing to fit in. Maya Angelou said, I know why the cage bird sings. No one could stop me from singing. No one could stop me from having a sense of joy. Even the days of my childhood where I was crying and dark and everything, and I would repeat out loud what my aunt would always say. Tomorrow's another fucking day.
Bars.
You know what I mean? So it was that. And whenever I can have a joyous moment, I seized it. I appreciated it. And I celebrated it. So I really had fun. You know what I mean? Like I had fun and I sought a good time out, but it had to be safe and not reckless because I had an agenda. You know, in Buddha, they said the closest thing to God is humility and appreciation. And I'm not humble in the sense of, oh, gee, thank you for the crumbs on the table. No. I'm humble in the sense where I'm taking my seat at the table that I know that I deserve, pulling my chair up and going, isn't this fabulous? Oh my God, we're seated at the table. What's on the menu? Because, I suffer from chronic depression and I hate it. And I wait for those moments of joy to spurt up. Or I try to create those moments of joy because it sucks to be depressed. It sucks. So when you see me out at a boxing match, I'm having the time of my life. It's not like a red carpet event where I have to worry about my hair and my makeup and how I'm dressed. And Andres and my cousin Sixto goes, do you know that you look better when you go to a boxing match than you do on a red carpet? I said, well, fuck you guys very nicely, And they go, no, it's just that you can feel your nerves on the red carpet. When you go to a boxing match, I go, happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here, man.
How did you discover that you have depression?
From a person that I was with, told me, I think you suffer from depression. And I go, no, I don't. And he was like,
I think you do.
And that was the first. And then it was the playwright, Eve Ensler. And we were going on a trip. We were doing this. I was part of her writing class. And we were going to Bedford Women's Correctional Facility teaching a writing class. And we would go up there several times. And then on the way back, she goes,
Don't take this the wrong way.
I go, no. She goes,
Do you suffer from depression?
and I go, I don't know, I think so, but I get depressed a lot. She goes, that would be an indication that you suffer from depression, right? And I said, wow, that's funny. Most people wouldn't say that, but this guy just said that to me. She says,
Here's a name and number to a doctor I think you should go see.
and I go, screw you, I don't need to see a doctor. And she goes,
She'll be available on Wednesday.
I go, okay. 15 minutes in that therapist's office. She said,
Okay, so you suffer from chronic depression and you have PTSD and you also suffer from high anxiety. And would you like to come back?
and I go,
No, this is a waste of time.
and she goes, okay. And I go, what time should I return? Yeah, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Fighting through darkness often blinds you to the enemy within. It may take someone else's light to truly see yourself. When center stage is behind closed doors, you have to win the crowd without losing yourself. How do you keep their eyes on you and their hands off you? Chapter 2, Dancing with the Devil. Well, how old were you when this...
When he happened,
No, well, when this doctor visit happened.
I was 28.
So that's a lot of life to live with what could be debilitating conditions that you haven't identified, much less diagnosed. Before 28, what's life like for Rosie having to carry around these conditions that you're not acknowledging?
Intense, just intense, where I was still using tools that I used as a child to survive, as a young adult that I didn't need. And they would get in my way. For instance, if you did something to me, the nickname for me was Sneak Attacker, because I would just wait. I would wait to get you back. My cousin Sixto goes, when you get mad, when you get that look in your eye, he goes, it's scary. Even out in Living Color or working as a choreographer, being on tour, it was chaotic. And I didn't understand that chaos triggered my PTSD because it reminded me of the chaos in my mother's house or the chaos at the Catholic home. So what would I do? I would close up. It would be like all the doors and the locks would be like... And my best friend, Julie, she says, people are afraid of you. This was in my early 20s. And I go, why? She goes, because you just look mean. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, at this party and you acted this way. I said, well, that's because that man was being disrespectful. And I had to shut him down. She goes, well, you shut down the whole party. Or having to choreograph a number and I only have a certain amount of time. And if I don't get this thing finished, I'm going to be fired. And then that's going to ruin my rep. And then, I have plans. I have an agenda. It has to happen. I would end up being like the nuns, get in line, let's go. And get into kind of a militant type of thing and not have patience or empathy. And so once I got therapy, I started to become accountable and have a certain self-consciousness about my behavior and how I affect the world. I had my shield up and my sword in the hand, ready to fight the world, because that's what I had to do as a kid.
And I feel like I've known you quite a while now, and I can't imagine the Rosie you're describing. Like, I know the close friend boxing Rosie, for sure.
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx, at A Living Color, right?
Yeah.
They put my office in the sub-basement at Fox Studios, right?
Yeah.
Because I had to play music, and not only was I the choreographer, right? I was the booker for the music acts because it was my idea. So Keenan goes, okay, homie, don't fuck it up or she's going to get fired. So I was like, oh my God, And so I had to book the acts. I had to pick the music. I had to help edit the music. I had to help clear the music, license and clearance.
Oh boy.
Right? Then teach the come up with 8 to 10 routines a week.
Now, so people know you're talking about that iconic first dance sequence when In Living Color starts.
Right.
This was your baby.
Yes, and in between the segments.
Right, yeah.
Right? And that was a lot of work. So I was working sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day. And I was focused. So Jamie Foxx just gets hired. He tells everyone,
I want to meet Rosie Perez.
And Julie, my best friend, says,
I wouldn't go downstairs if I were you. She's working.
and he goes,
So?
He comes downstairs. The door is ajar. And usually my door is closed. He doesn't knock. He opens the door and I go, what the fuck? Shut the fucking door! The fuck out! And he goes,
Oh my God!
and he slams the door very quickly. And I can hear him because I turn off the music. I can hear him. He said,
Rosie Perez ain't no joke. Oh my gosh, she scared the shit out of me.
and I went, oh no, that's the new guy. And I opened the door, like to tell him come in. And he's like,
Nah, I'm cool. All right, peace. Peace out.
he told everybody that story. Cut to 15 years later, I had not seen Jamie. We ended up being really cool, actually.
Right.
We enjoyed each other thoroughly on the show. But I had not seen him. And I go to a shoot that he's doing, and he goes,
Do you remember that time
I go, no, I don't remember. He goes,
you cursed my ass out?
and he goes,
You're so different.
I went, I got therapy. And he fell on the floor laughing.
Because everybody who's needed therapy knows what it's like to get therapy.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, well, I got therapy. That's not me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there a time when you were diagnosed where you thought about, well, there's a hereditary
Oh, yes.
connection here?
Yes. Yes. I demanded to see a psychiatrist because that's the medical doctor to confirm that I didn't have severe mental illness. I needed that confirmation. Otherwise, I wouldn't have continued with treatment because it was so scary. That was part of the reason why I was crying my first visit. It's because I was scared shitless.
That it might be
Yeah.
severe.
Exactly.
Was there any resistance to therapy once you got in it, or were you like...
I think it was a gradual process, because being raised as Catholic, I think that kicked in. Like, confession. Like, I used to make up things I did bad that weren't so bad so that I wouldn't tell the really bad things that I did. And so in therapy, I was subconsciously doing that. In the sense was I was saying, oh, everything's fine. Yeah, I had a good week. And yeah, I did the cognitive behavior. And I did, and last week was hell. When I went to the psychiatrist, She saw right through me. And she said, listen, you're paying for this. And I burst out laughing. I said, oh my God. She goes, so whatever you want to tell me, that's fine. But you're paying for these. So you should get your money's worth.
Wow. Did it affect your personal relationships?
Oh, yes.
How so?
In a great way for me. Some would beg to differ, you know, because I started cutting off a lot of people.
Right.
You know, I was like, oh, wow, you're toxic. You got to go, you know? And it was just like, why am I wasting my time? You know, I still suffer from depression. It doesn't go away, but I know how to manage it. And I enjoy life even more than I was enjoying it before because of it.
Being the hot girl.
Oh, God. Let me take a sip of champagne. Here we go.
I mean, all your life, you've been the hot girl. You're still the hot girl. Like, nobody, no, come on, don't give me that look. You
64.
already know.
1964.
And congratulations. You're looking at me like this is the first time you've ever heard it. I don't want. Come on, stop.
I am actually shocked. You know, my cousin Sixto says that guys say, "Yo, what's up with your cousin?"
Yeah,
and I go, "Oh, come on," and I don't believe him. I swear to God, I don't believe him. And then because he also follows it with an insult, he goes, "They don't know how old you are," you know.
What's it like coming up in dance, in Hollywood, actress, a woman of color, and absolutely a sex symbol? You can't tell me that didn't play a part in like having to survive and navigate this business.
Oh, people were coming at me. And I didn't understand it. And, you know, my husband, he was like, you didn't understand it? And he starts pumping like the way we would do in a Soul Train. And, you know, but I didn't understand it because as a child, I knew I was cute because everyone told me I was cute. But I thought they were saying that I was cute because I was chubby and short. And then I remember in junior high school, I walk into junior high for the first year and my breasts were humongous because they started growing in fourth grade, and I was embarrassed. And I would wrap my breasts with what's
Gauze?
that? Yeah, to flatten it. And I did that all the way through sixth grade. And in seventh grade, they were just too big to wrap. It was like, okay, fuck it, I gotta go to school. And I was mortified going to school. And I remember this girl, Beth Ann, goes,
Oh my God, your tits got so big.
I go, I know. She goes,
Are you upset about it?
And I said, yeah. She goes,
Wait till lunch.
and I got so much attention for the first time from boys that I never had. The attention that I had with boys is like calling me up,
Hey, Rose, you're gonna go up the hill? We're playing baseball.
I was the pal that always hung out with the boys. And so I remember going down the hallway and I'm looking at all of them look at me and I'm going, what is going on? I was totally confused. And I didn't know I suffered from anxiety and paranoia, like panic attacks, not paranoia. So I had a panic attack and I had to go to the nurses. She goes, what's wrong? I go, I don't know. And I was just crying. I didn't know how to handle the attention. And then, after lunch, Beth told me,
Billy Weiss thinks you're cute.
and I went, what? She goes,
You should come to school with a tighter shirt on.
Oh my God.
I came to school the next day with a tighter shirt on. And that was it. That was all she wrote. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
You figured it out pretty quick.
I figured it out pretty quick. He still didn't go out with me. He went out with Beth. And because Beth was cool. You know, she was used to going on dates. I didn't. My first date was this guy who was gay.
Oh, okay.
You know?
How did you find out he was gay?
I knew he was gay. Even it was in sixth grade. It was sixth grade dance.
I'm sorry, you went out with this gay sixth grader?
Yeah.
On purpose. You knew he was gay before he went to the dance.
Yeah, but he was so much fun. And he could do the hustle.
Oh, God.
So we... I had
the
so
hustle.
much fun. I had so much... I know I'm old. And, but, it just was that. But at the same time, I didn't have a boyfriend until I was in college. I didn't lose my virginity till I was 20. I was just so nervous. I had no game. I was still that sportsy, bookwormy nerd. And I would just sit there and you could literally see me shaking.
So what about the first guy that changed everything?
The first guy that changed everything, I'm still friends with him to this day. My first love.
Oh.
The first time I saw him, it was like a hammer hit me in the head. I was like, oh my God. And my sister Sally was looking at me. She goes, oh my God, why are you looking like that? I go, I think I'm in love. And she laughed at me. And he passed me again. I go, hi. I had no game. He goes,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
and he kept walking. And the competitiveness in me, I said, he's going to be my boyfriend.
Oh, shit.
I said, he's going to be my boyfriend. And later on that night, we ended up leaving the club together. And the next day, he asked me to be his girl. And he told me, he goes,
You don't know, like, that you're hot.
I go, I'm hot? He goes,
Yeah, you don't know it.
and I go, oh. He goes,
Stay that way.
Sage advice.
Yeah. And that's when I started to get confidence and everything. And we went out for a very, very long time.
Being a woman in Hollywood, you have to be confident. And sure, I guess you don't have to be, but
No, you have to be.
yeah, if you want to have a good time and be successful for a long time, I imagine you have to be. Is that an element of your relationships? Are you like the alpha in your romantic relationships?
I'm pretty alpha, but no, not so much. I think the Puerto Rican thing kicks in. Like I always do the cooking. I will serve my man. I will serve everybody. I won't do the dishes. That's where I draw the line. That's what that's my aunt's house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, I did all this where you could clean the dishes. But I run a house. You know, I'm like that. That's a little alpha. But otherwise, no. I think I was friends with guys first as a child. So I'm comfortable around guys in that sense. And that's what made me a good girlfriend, in the sense that I was just chill. Like, I mean, what guy wouldn't want a girl who says, no, I don't want to go out to dinner. There's a boxing match on. Can we watch that instead? Or do you want to go see, the Knicks or the Nets?
Now, that sounds like a healthy romantic relationship. Can you create that type of comfort level and mutual respect in a business relationship in Hollywood, being the hot girl who at this point, you know it, right? Like,
it was difficult. When I started out in the music industry, I remember telling my girlfriend, Rhonda Cowan, who was an executive over at Def Jam, and we had to work together a lot when I was a choreographer and everything like that. And I told her one day, we came back from a club, and there was all these rumors that I had slept with this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy. And back then, as a woman, that hurts your rep, and that also hurts you from getting jobs. Because there were females who were also executives, so not only guys would say, no, she's a hoe, don't fuck with her. There were women who would say, no, she's a whore, I'm not going to hire her. So you had to navigate that correctly and make friends, and I was smart enough not only to make friends with men in the business, but also, more importantly, make friends with the women in the business. Let them know who I am, that I'm not this. And that day I got so sick and tired of it, and I blurted out, I go, what the fuck? It's like I got brand name pussy or something. Like everybody wants to wear it or say they've worn it. She fell out laughing so hard. She goes, that is fucking hilarious. I said, no, it's sad. It's sad because I'm trying to have a career here. It's not a game for me. It's not funny. I'm not flattered by it. getting a job and then having a manager of a recording artist group hit on you, and if you don't go and sleep with him, you don't get their next music video. Telling a head of a record company, listen, I'm your friend. I'm your business friend. I don't want to sleep with you. Are you going to block me now? Like, I had to have conversations like that. I remember this one record company executive, let me walk you out to your car. And I said, no, that's okay. I could walk myself out to the car, but I really appreciate that. Right. And I said, I'm really excited about this gig, and I hope that we could be friends. And I stuck out my hand. And he laughed, like he went chuckle like, oh, okay, all right. I said, yeah. He goes, oh, okay, yeah. I said, no, and we shook hands. It was like that, but it was hard. And the recording artist trying to like screw you or screw your female dancers that you hire. And I would tell the females, please don't sleep with him. It's going to affect the video. It's going to affect the tour. They wouldn't listen. Then they get fired because they catch feelings. And then they come to me and cry. I go, I told you. It was horrific, you know, but honey, I could tell you some stories. It was bad. I jumped out of a window of a record company executive's house. Why? He was tearing at my clothes.
And what's the recourse for something like this?
Never got hired again.
You never got hired again.
I never got hired again. Not for his label, for his acts. Majority of them were the people behind the scenes. The people who had the power, who were decision makers. They were the ones. It was terrible. It was terrible. But there was some people, I don't want to name them. Some are dead, some are still here, unfortunately. They were just horrible. Horrible. And the stuff that I saw on tour, oh my God. Oh my God. The way they treated women was disgusting. And not just the rappers, their crew. Right. You know, I'm talking about everyone down to their personal assistant to the lighting guy.
Are you feeling like a den mother kind of energy about your dancers? Are you like...
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, but I even felt like a den mother about the groupies. If you have a groupie and she wants to sleep with you, okay. But don't degrade her because she's a groupie. She's a human being. If that's what she wants to do, fine. But why do you have to humiliate her? You know, you're a scumbag. You're a piece of shit for doing that. I have no respect for you after that. And I made friends with, because, you know, you get to know the same groupies as you go along with different tours and everything.
Right.
And I would see the ones that had a level of self-respect and they just loved it. They enjoyed it. And I would tell them, I go, I get it, but I don't get it. You deserve better. I would tell them that. And I remember this one girl, she goes, okay, you could keep your kumbaya to yourself. I'm having fun. And I burst out laughing. You know, I said, all right, okay, cool. You know, but I saw it. I've walked into nasty, icky, like groupie, like group sex.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. We'll talk after this. I'll tell you the whole story. Like, it was so disgusting. It was so disgusting. Like, I quit a tour because I couldn't take it.
Oh, boy.
But, you know, there's other people that I've been on tour with. Ice Cube, he was part of the tour that I was on. Most respectful guy I've ever met. I couldn't believe it. Don't agree with his politics, but he's an amazing person. Right. You know, De La Soul, the same. You know, we had fun. Like, we had fun on tours. Like, there's some people that were just great people. There were.
How does that industry differ from the film industry? Music versus film, those environments. Are they similar?
They're similar but different. Like, music industry will smile at you and then stab you in the gut. At the movie industry, they'll smile at you and then sit back on a boardroom and plan how they're going to get you killed.
You see the knife coming from the music people.
Yes.
And you fall through a trap door with film people.
Yes, yes. So it's different. Like, there was this one executive, the film executive, he asked me out on a date, and I knew what he was trying to do. Like, it was just a bunch of friends, and we're going to be on the beach late at night. I went, okay, I'll see. That's what I said. So I called him last minute. Listen, I can't make it. He goes, okay. There was a project. I thought I had it in the bag. Blocked. There was another certain individual. Because of the law, I can't say the name. He hit on me in Venice. Big time studio executive. I didn't go for it. And he literally said in my face, he had 2 big-time producers next to him. This was during the Venice Film Festival. And he laughed, lit a cigar, and he said, well, she just fucked herself, didn't she? I couldn't believe it. And he started to walk away, and I go, fuck you, you fat fuck. He stopped, turned, and he went, oh, now you're done. And he kept walking. Never hired me.
How do you survive? You've had this entire career, the kind of brand, for lack of a better word, that still to this day inspires positivity. And I don't know, I don't think of any scandal when I think of Rosie. It's always met with such good energy. How do you manage it?
I think because I don't put my personal business out there, I think the fact that I'm kind of boring, I'd rather just walk out of the party. I got the photo op, great, I'm going home. You have to keep that way, and you also have to be a nice person. It goes a long way. It really does go a long way, just to be nice. See someone, hey, how you doing? You know, there's people in the industry, like, they can't believe it. I text them, hi, I was just thinking about you. Oh, my God, you know, or happy holidays, because I know that makes people feel good. You know, it's just a nice thing to do, and that goes a long way as well.
When the dominoes start falling your way, keep your balance. Somewhere between the limelight of Hollywood and the candlelight of life, you have to find a home. Chapter 3, Fuck the Audience. When did you realize that dance was an expression? The famous Rosie pump? Well, I mean, of course, there's some sexual energy to it because it's pumping. But even when I originally saw it in the movie, the reason it's such a moment in the movie is because the energy behind it isn't really, like, provocative. It's like, oh, this girl is badass. Like, she's expressing her spirit in this dance. When did you realize that that was an expression that you could harness and, like, it embodies, like, who you are?
I think early on, my aunt said that I was always dancing, that even at 1 year old, younger, she said, being in the crib, I would scream at 3 o'clock because my cousins were coming home, and I made them put on Sam and Dave, I'm a Soul Man, over and over and over. And she said I would literally dance myself to sleep.
Wow.
You know, so even dancing with the guy that took me to the 6th grade dance,
Right.
we took over. We took over. And it wasn't that I was trying to show off. It's that I just love it. I can't dance without making a face. It's so humiliating. And it's just me. It's just in me. And it's all the things. If you were confined as a child in a system, I know why the caged bird sings. And then that cage is lifted, you're going to sing your freaking ass off.
When you're dancing, is that the freest that you are?
Yes, unquestionably. That and singing, and I sing horribly.
When did you know that dance would be your vehicle, or did you know?
I didn't know. It was in college, and I was picked by the talent scout at this club called Florentine Gardens, Soul Train talent scout, and he asked me to be on Soul Train. I was like,
Are you kidding? Yeah, but I'm not gonna go by myself. Can my girlfriends come?
Are they as hot as you?
They're hotter.
Where are they?
and I pointed to them,
Hey, baby.
and he goes,
Oh, bring all of them.
and when I got on Soul Train, they told me I couldn't dance in my sneakers on the floor, and I had to get high heels, and I had to drive all the way back, and then come back with high heels and stuff, and that's where the pumping came from, because I didn't know how to dance in high heels, so I only could dance standing. So I stood in one place, so what could I do?
Amazing.
That's where it came from. It was kind of a morphed jerk move from cool jerk.
Yep.
Cool jerk. That's all it was.
And what was the reaction then when you first did it?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I got friends and enemies instantly. You know, and I'm a college student. I'm a biochem major, right? I don't give a shit about being famous. But that was the first time. And then Lowell Silas Jr. of MCA Records, he has passed. God rest his soul. He came to the show with an act. And it was in between. And we all would dance when the cameras were off for fun. And I started dancing hip hop. And he said,
You, come here.
I go, what? And I'm thinking, oh God, here we go again with the, inappropriate, hit on the dancer girls, because you saw that a lot at Soul Train. And he goes,
What's that called? That's like the rap stuff, right?
It's called hip hop.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
and he goes,
Oh my God, can you do that and teach that? I have a recording artist that's coming out. He's in a big group and he's going solo. I can't tell you who it is.
I'm not a choreographer.
I'll pay you $1,600 a day.
I'll be there Monday.
and that's how it happened. I had to go up to the record company, and I didn't know that I had to have a presentation.
Oh.
So he says,
Let me see the routine.
The routine?
I made it up right on the spot. And he goes,
Great. Now I want him to be really sexual.
What do you mean?
I want him to fuck the audience.
and I went, oh, and that's where my prerogative, where he's pumping, that's where I got it from.
I said, what if he just does this?
And he fell out laughing. He goes,
Really?
I go, why not? And then I still didn't get the gig. Then he says, he's going to come over to your apartment because he wants to see the routine. And I go, oh. And he goes, and you do have dancers, right? And I go, yeah. I didn't have shit, right? And so I knew this dance crew in the dance clubs in L.A., because I was going to school out in L.A., and they were called Heart and Soul. And I was friends with them. And I said,
I don't know who the artist is. He's coming over. It's a secret. Would you guys come? There is a routine that you do. It's good. It's not great. I think that if we blend what I have and what you have, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, what part of our routine?
There's only one where you look like you're driving a car. That's all I need. Everything else I'm going to make up.
What?
Don't worry.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. They come over. We rehearsed for 8 hours. They were so mad at me because the nuns again. I'm like, again.
Right.
And because I just felt something. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. And Lil Silas calls me up.
He's outside.
How am I going to recognize him?
You're gonna recognize him.
Could you just tell me who it is? Because now...
It's Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown! Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
And then the dancer's like, oh, no, man, oh, God, we're fucked. And I remember I was like,
Listen! Everybody! Shut up! Now, when he comes in here, we're going to act like we're professionals.
and one of the dancers goes,
But we're not.
I go,
He doesn't know that!
And what was worse is my apartment where it was in the jungle.
This is in your apartment?
This is in my apartment.
Come on.
In a section of LA that I didn't know it was the Bloods' territory.
It's the final scene of Training Day.
Yes.
The jungle.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I remember Bobby was like,
Yo, you must be gangster living here.
No, it's that my boss, he owns this building, so he got it for me. I only paid $300.
Where are you from?
Brooklyn.
So you're a gangster and you got a hustle.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Don't call me Mr. Brown.
and then his brother Tommy goes,
You could call me Mr. Brown and you could talk to me only.
and I go,
Okay, Tommy.
and Bobby fell out laughing. And because I was nervous, I was being a smart ass.
Right.
And he goes,
So let me see the routine.
Okay, so I'm gonna be you, and these guys gonna be your background dancers.
and there was 4 of them at the time. And we did the routine. I am so nervous. And those guys did not mess up once. I kept messing up. I was so nervous. And so every time I messed up, I kept doing the pump thing. And then falling back in line, and Bobby goes,
I love it. especially the pumping thing.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, I guess, you'll tell Lou.
I'll tell Lou, yeah, you got the gig.
All right, thank you so much. I'll walk you out.
They walk out to the gate. I come back in. We screamed at the top of our lungs. Yes! Jumping up and down like little kids, like the little rascals. Jumping up and down, hugging each other, crying, like could not believe it.
How old were you when you got In Living Color?
Oh. Well, that was after Do the Right Thing, but Do the Right Thing wasn't out yet. Yeah.
Well,
and I was on LL Cool J tour, and I kept telling Todd, I kept saying to him, I did this movie, and I'm really worried. And he goes, why? I said, because I did nudity, and I didn't tell my father. He goes, you did nudity? The most prudish girl on tour I've ever met? And I started laughing. I go, yeah. And I started crying. And he laughed so hard. He said, so the world's going to see them titties? I said, Todd! Oh, my God. And I got a panic attack and went to my room. And I was on the phone with my sister. I don't know how to tell Daddy. Oh, my God. You know, it was just like, what am I doing? Yeah, so it was on the LL Cool J tour that the Wayans brothers all came backstage and they cursed me out because they told me I turned down the job, the offer at Living Color. I said, no, I did not. I said, the executive producer, Kevin, told me that I got passed over for the job. And Keenan went, say what? He didn't know. And Keenan goes, can you be there Monday morning? And I said, I'm on tour. And he goes, I'll pay you such and such amount of money. And I went, that's not enough money. Because now I was making money. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so then Todd comes off a stage, you know, he's wiping his face. That's what he does. You know, I'm there to wipe his face and stuff. And he goes, oh, Keenan, what's up? And Damian Wayans said, we want her to come to Living Color. And I said, it's just not enough money. And then Keenan says, I'll pay you this much. And he doubled it. Right? And Todd looked at me, he said, you better go get that money, girl. And he went right out on stage. I guess I'll see you Monday.
There it is.
And then he came back. I said, you're not worried that I'm leaving the tour? He goes, no, get that money. And he gave me a hug, gave me a kiss on the cheek, went back out and performed.
Now, you say that this time you've already done Do the Right Thing, but it's not out.
It's not out.
When you did it, did you know what a success it would be? What were you expecting it to be?
I didn't think it was going to be a success. Let me take that back. I thought it was going to be successful. I had no idea how successful it was going to be. And I remember after I read the script, I told Spike, I love how you write, man. This is going to be American classic. And he laughed. I said, it is. It is. I said, this is good. This is really good. I thought it would have the same type of success as School Days and stuff like that, you know, which is still great. And I thought, okay, I did the movie and I went back to school. I went back to choreography. And then it wasn't until I went to the premiere and saw it. And tears were going down my eyes. And my two half-sisters go, it's okay, your dad's gonna understand the nudity. And I fell out laughing. And they go, what is so funny? I said, I'm not sad. This is amazing. This is gonna change my life. In the movie theater, and I couldn't stop crying. It was pure joy and pure exhilaration and fear for what is going to come. That's what I felt.
Were you accurate?
Yes and no, because I got a lot of notoriety, a lot of press. But the racism in Hollywood, I did not get one job offer for a year.
Nothing.
The next thing I did, someone told me about Backstage. It's an industry trade mag for actors they post a work for extras or day players. And when I went for the job, they were only looking for day players, not for the supporting lead. But when I went for the job, I go, can I see the script? No one goes,
no, you could just have the sides.
And I go, oh, well, my agent told me that I could see the script. I totally lied. And so she goes,
Oh, I am so sorry. And your name again?
Rosie Perez.
Oh, Rosie Perez. Oh, I am so sorry. Here.
thank you. Took the script, went into the ladies' room, sat there and read it as quickly as I could. And I came back and I go,
Actually, I want to try out for this role.
and it was the supporting lead. She smiled, she goes,
Let me see what I could do.
and she went in and she told them. And I walked in the room, I did the audition, and they hired me.
Amazing. Now, I know you've done Do the Right Thing, but is that the first moment like you felt like an actress, like you're pursuing an acting career?
I was pursuing an acting career when I said I'm going to pursue an acting career. In that dark theater at the premiere, Do the Right Thing. I didn't feel secure as an actress until I did Fearless, directed by Peter Weir, and it starred Jeff Bridges, and it was about a plane crash. It was based on a true story. And I was one of the survivors, and in that plane crash, my baby died because it slipped out of my arms because the flight attendant told me to hold on to the baby. And I have a nervous breakdown. And Jeff Bridges' character has a nervous breakdown. And then we become soulmates from it. And it was a very, very difficult film to get. They wanted a white woman for the role, as always, even though that the role in real life was based on an Asian woman. And I had really great agents at the time, and they said, I think you could kill this, but they don't want you. I go, oh, that's the story of my life. Don't worry about it. Never got picked for the team. Let's go. And I was like, just get me in the room.
Right.
And they're like, what? I said, just get me in the room. Just get me in the room. I want this. And I had to do 4 auditions, 4 callbacks. And it was Jeff Bridges and Paula Weinstein, the executive producer, and Peter Weir, the director, that went to the studio. Enough. You're not going to audition her again. This is the one for the role. Beat out all of them. All those A-list white girls, beat them out. Slayed.
In Do the Right Thing, you could combine your dancing, because of that opening sequence, with your acting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you now having to choose between like choreography and being a dancer,
Yes.
and then
Yes,
pursuing this?
that's so funny you said that, because I was choreographing over the phone while I was filming, and Jeff Bridges started screaming at me, put down the goddamn phone. We're acting here. And I go, no, but I have to do this for a living. I don't give a shit. And then he walked away, and I went, oh, he's mad at me. Like, my feelings were so hurt, and I was so worried that he hated me and stuff. And I walked over to him, and I go, Jeff, I'm sorry. I apologize. I won't do that again. And he goes, you have to choose. Either you're going to be in this film or you're going to be in that rehearsal room. And I said, gotcha. And I made that decision.
You're married now, but later in life, no biological children. Like, that side of it had to suffer for all these other things that you are: actress, choreographer, author now. Was that a choice?
No, it's just the way things happened. When I had my son, I had my nephew that I became my son and stuff, and he's passed, God rest his soul. I got to have that experience too, but I don't think it was a choice. I think the choice was that I wasn't going to have anyone take care of me. I am going to take care of myself. That was the choice. But I also felt like I can have a relationship. I can have that. I can have a home. My aunt and my father's house were the only homes that I ever knew, because the Catholic home was not a home. So my biggest success story in my life is that I have my own home, because that's the most important thing to me. That security, that comfort, that safety, love, happiness, feeling welcomed, a part of.
And so when someone researches Rosie, and I know this, like you said, because we're personal friends, but it says you have no children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're free to talk about it or not.
Yeah.
But the relationship between like you and your aunt, right? She provided a home for someone who needed that and provided love and whatnot. Now, you don't have biological children,
Right.
but was being able to provide a home in that way and give somebody love who needed a maternal figure. Even at the time, did you recognize a link between
Yes.
yourself and that situation?
No, not initially. Initially, it was like, I have to take care of this kid and love him and everything like that. Funny enough, it was when we went to the premiere of Lackawanna Blues by George C. Wolfe. And, that character was an auntie who took in the nephew, and she ended up taking in even more kids. And Eddie was there, and he turned, he goes, "That's you, Mom." Burst into tears. And then Carmen, my sister, went, "Oh my God, you're just like Tia," meaning auntie. And I was like, oh my God. And I didn't get it. All those years, I didn't get it. And I remember as a kid, my aunt saying to me, I asked her, "Why did you take me?" And she goes, "Because I had to." I said, "You didn't have to." She goes, "Yes, I did, because I loved you." I was like, wow. And she said, "Rose, remember this. The greatest gift is not to be loved. The greatest gift is to love. It makes your heart feel so good." And it does. It does. It's the best gift in the world. That you could love somebody. Not everyone could love someone. Everyone could be loved. Maybe not some people, but, but not everyone could love. And that's so sad. So when you get to love, it's amazing. It's like my friends. I have a few friends that are bachelors and bachelorettes. And I go, "Do you love the people that you date and stuff?" And they're like, I like her or I like him. Yeah, I love him. I get it. I said, "No, you don't love him. You don't love him." And I said, "I can't wait for the day." Not saying that you should get married or that you should settle down, but I can't wait for the day that you truly love somebody. That goes past being in love, by the way. When you truly love somebody. It's amazing.
What made you, in your life, with all these things going on, feel like you had to take care of Eddie?
Same reason, because I loved him.
How do you know that?
I loved him unconditionally from the day he was born. I saw him when he first came out. I saw him unconditionally. I used to spend my weekends as a high schooler just to be with him. I can't go down this road with you too far because it's still painful and it still hurts. But I just loved him. I can't say anything else. It's just pure love. And I remember telling him one day, "Eddie, you can murder someone and I will never stop loving you." Because he did something and he was ashamed of it. And I was like, "I know you're mad at me." I said, "I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, but I still love you, okay? So I don't want you to beat yourself up and think that you're going to lose me. You will never." That unconditional love is when you think about someone every single day. I still think about him every single day. It's a great love. And that's all I can say about it, or else I'm going to fall apart here.
Well, then you'll allow me to say something about it, because in knowing you personally, but then also researching the part of your life I didn't know you, what I see is a composite of the best of everything that you went through. And you've been through so much. Like your mother's mental illness, you have your own, but you handle it and turn it into a positive element of your life. You embrace mental health, not mental illness. Your aunt took you in and created an environment for you to be loved, and you passed that forward to Eddie, and you created an environment where he could be loved, and he had a mother, and he had somebody where he knew he was loved.
Yeah.
The nuns were so strict, and they were so browbeating, and they were so demanding, and you were that of yourself and the young girls that you helped become successful in the business. You imparted into them the best lessons from the nuns, and you became the best version of all the trauma in your life. Everybody who was a part of making you who you are, you brought the best of them to all of us. So I envy Eddie for having the opportunity to have known you in that way for as long as he did, but I promise you that we all feel a little bit like him because you have so much love for us and you impart it every time I see you, every time I'm in your space, that home, that welcoming, nurturing environment. Well, that's Rosie. And you're imparting that to all of us always. And if you don't know, everybody you know can't wait to get more of it. And I'm so happy you spent some of this time with me and giving it to me today. I get it all to myself for a few hours. It felt amazing. So you're everybody's mother and sister and daughter because we all love you so much and we feel the love from you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. And I've seen you live at the boxing matches, and this is a different side of you that I'm seeing too, and I like it a lot.
All right, well, let's see more of each other and more of these sides, because as soon as I get to see you again, I'm there.
Okay.
Thank you, Rosie, for spending this time. It was so beautiful.
All right.
And we need a picture and I need a hug.
Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, the First Lady of Boxing, 5'1", dancing like a butterfly, the Puerto Rican Pump. Rosie Perez.
To this day,
Radio Rahim. To This Day is a Luminary original podcast. It's produced by Pilot Boy and Alex Casnoff for Salt Audio. Executive produced by Dave Chappelle. And me, Radio Rahim. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my mom. You may know her as Dr. Rita Muhammad, without whom none of this is possible.
Original audio production, music and sound design by Salt. Executive produced by Pilot Boy. Executive produced by Noah Gersh, Jamie Schefman, Nick Panama, and Kenzi Wilbur. Creative producer, Alex Casnoff. Executive producer, Elliot O'Day. Head of production, Liz LeMay. Head of engineering, Jordan Galvan. Production manager, Allie Strobel. Post coordinator, Alice Bearn. Edited by Geoffrey Mutchnik. Mixed by Salt. Additional editing and sound design by Jasper Van Dijk and Noah Kowalski.